let me introduce myself first once a little bit. Like, I'm Samprit, and I'm a senior Python developer in cfus.com, and also I'm an ML analyst. And I worked in a couple of companies as of now. Like, I worked as a developer, as an app developer, but my mainstream career is on mostly as a website backend developer. So I used to manage all the database related things and all of that stuff in like for the companies. So basically, what I will be showing you here is the current IT industry trends. And if you are from IT or like CSE background in engineering, and how you can prepare yourself for this kind of companies and interviews, so that you can stand out yourself from the rest of the crowd, so that you can do a little bit of extra preparation for the upcoming interviews that is going to happen that might be in your campus or maybe in off campus. But the thing is, like, how you are going to prepare for that. So first I will talk about couple of things from the IT industry trend right now. I will be talking about the local IT trend, because right now there are not that much scope of discussion of about the global trend and all of that. So I will be directly jumping on this topic called local IT trend. So local IT trend means we are talking about the companies that are based on India, and the startups and SME sector companies and couple of MNCs as well. So I will be starting my journey with the website developer, as this is my current profession. So I will be showing you some couple of things, like what are the trendy technologies these days in the market that you should be like preparing a little bit more if you are planning to build your career as a web developer or something like that. So the current market trend, obviously all of you already know, like there are a couple of languages in the market. So I will be simply showing you a couple of languages that are mostly on the hit list of the client demand. So basically the first one will be PHP. So if I talk about the Kolkata, like in Kolkata, the startups and all the SME sector companies and couple of MNCs as well, who is having their offices in Kolkata, they hire people who knows various things or the various other frameworks in PHP. Like for example, if I talk about, there are lots of companies that are hiring currently in Kolkata for WordPress developers. And by WordPress, I don't mean like this is just for designing and changing the theme. The whole developer, as a WordPress developer, you can shine in Kolkata. Like there are lots of companies and clients, they are demanding their sites and they need various plugins and all of that thing that can be done in WordPress. So WordPress development is a kind of like trendy topic in Kolkata. And there are lots of fields in this PHP. Like this is not just the language, but the frameworks that makes the PHP so much popular. So one of the most popular framework would be Laravel Coordinator. So these are some couple of MVC frameworks that are required by the company. So if you are going for the backend developer job or any of such interviews, make sure you have that knowledge or skill in your bucket list. So that would be extra beneficial layer on your resume. So there are lots of things in PHP like frameworks, CMS systems, and lots of various other things in PHP like that you should always plan to learn before you are going for like interview as a web developer. So next thing, as I already talked about, this is one of the most famous framework in PHP, which is Laravel, and this framework is kind of like trendy these days in our IT industry. So lots of clients and lots of companies are requiring the developers who are requiring the people who are skilled enough on this framework so that they can hire them. Basically, they are having lots of clients, they are demanding lots of developers on Laravel. So this is kind of a trendy technology that I can say directly to you that you should always get your hands dirty on, because on this framework, the market demand on Kolkata is very high. Obviously, not only on Kolkata, like there are other cities also. If you are planning to move outside of the West Bengal, then there are lots of companies who are like having their websites totally on Laravel or managing some of the parts of their web applications or client applications on Laravel as well. So there are various this kind of frameworks in PHP. So this is the first thing that you should learn first if you are going for the web development part. Now, as I already talked about, this is the WordPress, and the next big thing after PHP is Python. And this is one of the, again, one of the most trendiest language that I would say, because in Python, various things can be done, not only in web, like in web development, but the application scenario of Python, like it is vast. Like Python can be implemented in many of the places. So not only in web development, in the like automation, scripting, testing, lots of fields, in lots of, even in automation, scripting for the like GUI or for the web or any kind of things like that. And even if you are going for the data analytics or data science part, Python is the like one of the only friend for you to help you on such domains. So Python is kind of all-in-one package solution for you. So you should definitely learn this if you are going for a web development or any sort of other development, because this is kind of a handy tool for you. And in Python, for the web development, as I already told you, like this is the focus thing here, the web development part that I'm going to be talking about today is Django. Django is kind of a framework that I already told you, and it is again for the web development part. So if your plan is to build a career on this kind of like website building or work as a backend developer of the website, you should definitely check out this framework written in Python, and you should learn this because it will add an extra layer, extra beneficial layer on your resume. Okay. And after that, there are lots of design language and frameworks as well. And one of the most popular design framework that I can say right now is Angular and React. So I just showed the Angular logo here. Basically, Angular is kind of a design thing. So if your interest is on the web designing part or something like that, you want to build those beautiful, good-looking website designs, you should definitely go with this kind of frameworks that they use. And company, if you just search any job portal, like anywhere where each of the company is hiring or looking for developers, you will be seeing 20 to 25% of the job applications are for this kind of front-end frameworks. Like either they require an Angular developer or they require a React developer. So these are a couple of things if you are planning to move into the web design domain. So yeah, so you should definitely consider this when you are going for the interview of web design. Now, the next thing is app development. As I already mentioned, like there are lots of companies who require developers who are good enough to build like this kind of like hybrid application, not exactly hybrid, but they can write this kind of framework based application. Like for example, here I have shown the React Native one. So the React Native is kind of a single framework that is used for building the applications for iOS and Android. So if you are going for the mobile app development for iOS or for Android, this is something that you should definitely check out. So this is not for beginners, I would say. Like this is not for beginner. This is not the one that you should start with if you are planning to move into the mobile app development field. You should definitely go for the native Android development or native iOS development first, and then you should come to this framework which is called React Native. Obviously, there are competitors in the market like Flutter is also there, and Flutter and React Native are kind of like complement to each other. They does the same job, but they are from various like two different tech giants. Like React is the product of Facebook, and Flutter is basically the product of Google. So basically, these two are the required thing for any modern interview for app development. So if you are going for this domain like mobile app development, you should definitely check this out, React Native or the Flutter framework that I would say. Like you should definitely have it like have this one on your skills bucket list. So, I would just, as the time constraint is here, so I would just quickly wrap up these things, like how to actually, push yourself a little bit further so that you can stand out of the crowd and you can submit a better resume, or you can like increase your chances to get a job in a good in a good company, or you can have your base salary as a fresher like in a very good amount. So if you are planning to go into such field, like any of the field like I just mentioned, what are the things that you should remember before you are just going for the interview? So I would just summarize the whole thing in just couple of points. So I will just say here that be open to start at the bottom. So basically what do I mean by that is, always you will see whenever you will start your career as a web developer or a mobile app developer, you will see that there are lots of things to learn, there are lots of frameworks, there are lots of languages, and you will get confused as a beginner that where to start, or what should I study in the beginning, then what will be the exact scenario or the journey of this whole thing. So always remember, you have to be open to start at the bottom. Like okay, there is a question. I'm just coming to the questions a little bit later, but let me just finish this up first. So basically, be open to start at the bottom, like you accept the fact that you don't know anything and you have to learn the things first, and then you can only apply for these companies. Like before learning, don't ever go to any interview, like you will be like rejected at the first round. So always remember, learn the skills first. Okay. Next, teach yourself the skills and get educated. So education is the main important field here that people miss out. Like they don't train yourself, like train themselves properly. So basically, if you are going for such kind of interviews, always make sure that you are good enough, or you are having a good skill on the languages or on the frameworks that you have mentioned on the resume. So basically, these are a couple of things, like train yourself, teach yourself, and make yourself better before going into any such interviews. The third point is, if you are a programmer, or if you are just starting your journey as a programmer, so just create a portfolio first. This is the one of the most mandatory thing. Like by saying portfolio, they always think like they have to build their resume. Resume is one thing, like your CV is one thing, but if you are a programmer, build your online portfolio. Like it can be hosted on GitHub, it can be hosted on Bitbucket. Show off your coding skills, like what kind of things that you have done, what kind of projects that you have worked on. So all of the things you should showcase on your GitHub profile, on your Bitbucket, or maybe on your personal website. So that's totally fine. So make your portfolio first. Next is earn good amount of certificates. Like there are lots of institute, lots of training institutes are there in this era. Like they provide free certificate. Don't just directly go into that institutes who provides the certificates for free. Basically, if you are just getting the certificate by paying money, your certificate is of no value. So basically, just go for those institute who takes proper exam, or maybe who like getting the certificate is not easy from that institute. Go for such institutes, because their certificates will be valuable, and you have to learn the skills to actually earn the certificate. So earn the certificate, not just buy the certificate. Okay, so just make sure you are earning your certificate properly. Next thing will be, just try to become an intern in a company. Like always try to find a company in which you can apply for internships. Like there are lots of companies hiring intern for part-time, for full-time. You have to just search the job portal. If you are on your final year, or maybe you have just finished your college, like after coming out of your college, just look for the companies who provide internship. Don't just directly go into the job after just finishing your college. That's the mistake that most of the student does. Basically, if you are just directly going to the job like job section after coming out of your college, what happens is like there are lots of responsibilities, there are lots of things, that new thing, there are lots of pressure, and you have to know first that how to handle those pressure situations and those responsibilities first. So becoming an intern is always a good idea, because the company will not be totally dependent on you, because you are an intern then, and you will get the flavor of the pressure situation in a company and how to work as a team. So all of the job flavor that you will be getting in the internship. So my recommendation would be just apply for internship if you have just came out of your college, or maybe you are in the final year of your college. So always go for the internship before you just apply for jobs. Sixth and very important point, which will be required in the later part of your life, not just directly right now after coming out of your college, is make networks. Like whenever you are going for an internship, or maybe for like you have selected in some company and you are doing a job, just make sure that you make networks with people. So basically making network will be highly beneficial for you in the upcoming time or the later time of your life. So basically when you will be searching for another job, or maybe you want to build your own startup or your own company you want to form, so basically on that period, the networks will be like the people you have a good connect with will actually help you. So making network of people is always a good idea. So keep it in mind. And the last point will be, don't be intimidated. Like in your job profile, you will see that lots of people are actually doing a lot better than you. So basically you will be seeing like lots of people are doing a lot of things in their field and they are already at the great level, but you are nowhere compared to them. So basically it can actually scare you. So don't be intimidated, just have patience and just have faith in yourself and tell in your mind that like you will be reaching at that level at some point in your life. So be diligent in doing what you are doing and don't be intimidated by others' success. So that is the final point, and I won't be taking that much long time. So this is my final point about the whole thing, and thank you for all like watching this whole session, and I guess it was a little bit of beneficial for you about how you can start your career as a web developer or app developer, or maybe in general as a coder or programmer. So I will just take the question, like for school students, what will be the tips regarding coding skills, and what is the perfect age to start learning programming language and which language? So basically for school student, like already there are a couple of schools and there are a couple of syllabuses in which like from class 6 already they got introduced of programming languages and they code into it. So basically as early as possible you are introduced to computer programming languages. That's better for you, because you will learn actually how to actually use your computer, and when you will be introduced with programming language, you will learn the fun fact like how your computer is actually working and why we call this computer a dumb device, and how computer follow your instruction one by one, and how it executes and how your processor works. So all of the things you will get a clear picture if you get introduced with this programming languages. So as soon as possible you get introduced with this programming languages, that's better for you. So if you are on school, so my tips will be just like start your journey as your learning the programming languages. Obviously you can start with C, Java, Python, any languages on like based on this three, like C, Java or Python. Like I won't recommend Java for the beginners, but C or Python would be a good choice for the school student. Just learn it side by side of your study. That will be ultimately helpful at some point at your life after you finish your education, or maybe you will be going in the coding field or something like that, because we all know that our IT industry is getting huge day by day. So that is what I would be recommending. Just stay focused and learn it side by side. Any more questions? You can just ask it right now, then I will be ending this session.